Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to talk about my largest holding, which is Facebook. Now, Facebook's had a lot of negative press at the moment, and the stock is moving down a little bit, but nevertheless, I'm still very confident in the company. And today, I'm going to put my analyst hat on and pretend I'm an analyst, give a price target to you guys, and say why I believe that Facebook will be going to this price target. So the price target I've set on Facebook is $400, and I do believe that Facebook will get there within the next 24 months, so in the next 2 years. And yeah, I generally do think it will reach this potential, and right now, with the dip that it's on, could be one of the best buying opportunities out there in the stock market, in my opinion. Now, I haven't done this series on Facebook since about May 2020, when I did why Facebook is going to go to $300, and within the next kind of few months it did reach $300, even though it's had a little bit of a pullback right now. But the last price target I gave on Facebook, it did reach it very quickly, and this one I do think it could take it a little bit longer, but I don't think it will be too long until we see Facebook actually hit the $400 range. So with the prices that it is at right now, would give it a very good upside. And Facebook was also a stock I was buying a little bit more of this week, and if you do want to know when I'm buying and selling stocks like Facebook, make sure you join my patrons group. There's a link in the description, and if you could, smash the like button as well. And if you do want to start buying some shares in Facebook, there's a link to a Trading 212 account in the description and a free trade account, and if you buy or open an account up for them links, you also get a free share as well if you want to start buying Facebook. But we'll get stuck into Facebook and why I'm so bullish on this company, why I think it will go to $400 as well, and why it's my biggest position. And I'll also try to cover some of the risk as well. I'll try to give it a fair reflection and why the stock's kind of down. So we'll take a look. We'll start off with the core business. So basically Facebook was social media, started off quite a few years ago now, and it's acquired some amazing platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp. Also separated its messenger service from its Facebook service, which was a very great move. And yeah, it's got 4 massive apps: Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. You can argue that it has Oculus as well, and they also have a team which do go on to basically make some more projects for Facebook. So this is like Facebook Shops, for example. So there is a special team that is trying to make a 5th successful platform, and I potentially think that Facebook might look to acquire another platform to make it 5 actual monster apps. But at the moment, there's still 4 big well-known apps that are known for: Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. Like I said, these are all social media websites, and what Facebook does is it advertises on them platforms that they have, and that's where it makes a lot of income. Now, digital marketing is a massive growing industry. It's grown quite a lot over the last few years, and companies are preferring to use digital marketing and influencers. So we go back maybe 20 years ago, the classic way to do it was on the radio, maybe it was from TV adverts, and now we can just skip past them, billboards, for example, and then they kind of realised that this isn't the best way to do it. You kind of go out the room to go make a drink or something when the adverts come on, or you don't really concentrate on the billboard that you're passing. Whereas digital marketing is a lot more in your face. They can target it a lot better than what they were doing previously, and it's just more successful. And the great thing with something like a Facebook platform is if I was someone at Nike and I wanted to advertise some Nike products, I actually advertise on my official page. So then hopefully people click on my page, maybe they'll start following my page as well. So that kind of little interaction is the successful thing for digital marketing, and that's why it's growing huge. And another thing, really key thing to think about as well, is through what the numbers that I'll show you on Facebook are amazing, and that's through a year where marketing budgets have been cut huge. So when you start considering now that a lot of marketing budgets will start coming back towards the end of 2021, 2022, it looks a really fantastic opportunity. So yeah, in the industry it's in, it's growing absolutely huge. And the great thing as well is you look at the platforms they do have. Facebook is pretty much monetized. Instagram's getting a lot better, but WhatsApp hardly monetized as well, and that's actually the fastest growing platform here. So there's still a lot of potential for Facebook to grow monetization through adverts on their platforms, as well as developing other income streams that they're working on with the special Facebook team that I've mentioned briefly. That's another thing they're looking on. So there's still a lot of monetization growth, and Facebook, they know what they're doing, them guys. I think they bought Instagram for something like 5 billion or something, and I think if Instagram was to go for sale now, we'd be talking like a 200 billion company or something. Same with WhatsApp. I think that's 28 billion, I think it was, or something, and that that would probably be worth a lot now. The smart guys are here in the companies, and not a company that in my opinion would stand still. And once again, you're picking a company up in a very good growing sector, which is really important. Now, if we go onto the stock is currently trading at $251 as of recording this video. The ticker symbol is FB and the market cap is 715 billion. So it's a very big company, and like I say, if it does get to the price target I expect it to get to, we will be talking about a trillion-dollar company, which I do see Facebook joining the trillion-dollar club at some point. Now, the stock actually peaked out around about $304, and that was about August time, and the stock's been downtrending a little bit since. It's down about 17% from all-time highs, and there's been a bit of some negative news that has pushed that down, which I'll try to touch on and offer some of the risks that do come with this company, because it's definitely not a company that the media, leave alone. They definitely like putting Facebook in the headlines. So I'll cover some of them things there that will make it a bit choppy over the next maybe couple of months. From a long-term point of view, like I say, I think when you look at the marketing, the platforms that will carry on growing, and Facebook's ability to carry on, being a great company, we'll see it being very successful. So first of all, we know this company is going to have successful growth with its amazing platforms. It does have, four amazing companies, 3 in the most top 10 downloaded apps in 2020. Just going to put it, because this is one of the big tech giants that is out there. It's one of the FANGs, and if you don't know what the FANGs are, they're basically, it used to be FANG, but now it's 2 A's. So we've got F, Facebook, A, Apple, A, Amazon, N, Netflix, and G, Google. So those are the FANG stocks, the big tech companies. And, I always say that it is worth having one of these companies in your portfolio. Potentially even 2 is worth having. I think, these companies can pretty much control the market. The market moves on how these companies are doing. And yeah, they are the giants of the stock market at the moment. And like I say, I definitely think it's worth having one of these in here. And these stocks do perform very well. Now, just to put the valuation into perspective of what the FANG stocks is and how Facebook compares to the rest of the FANG stocks, we're going to go on forward PE, and I like looking at this because it shows where the company is going to be in a year's time and how much profit it'll be able to do and what price it's at. I think is a very good metric. So when we look at the forward PE ranges of a lot of the FANG stocks, Facebook's currently on 23. We've got Amazon on 58, Apple on 32, Netflix on 56, Google on 30. So by far the way, Facebook is very, very cheap here. And I would say that Facebook for me is really cheap. If that forward P drops into like the teen range, then that's dirt cheap. But even comparing it to the other FANG stocks, you can see the valuation on Facebook's point of view is so cheap compared to the other ones. I mean, there's only Google that's kind of close, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot cheaper. And then when you actually put that to what the growth they're going to offer, it's the number one cheapest valued, but it's the number one growth company in the FANG stocks as well. So this company is going to be pulling out revenue of 23% as what Yahoo Finance is predicting. I saw some of these figures and I thought I could argue a case for some of the other stocks, but I thought, hey, this is a video on Facebook, not talking about Amazon or Netflix or Google or anything like that. But yeah, the revenue is 23% growth in 2021, which is the best on the list, and it's the cheapest valued. So let's not forget that. And then you've got Amazon on 18%, which I don't think is correct, but we'll let it go. And then we've got Apple on 15%, we've got Netflix on 18%, Google on 21%, which I was like, whoa, that's actually pretty impressive. But hey, we're talking about Facebook today. But yeah, you can see when we talk about the forward P, it's the cheapest valued and it's the one of the best growth. And that's comparing it. That's just giving some sort of kind of comparison to other FANG stocks that are in its sort of category. I didn't really want to compare it to something like a Snapchat or a Pinterest, because of the difference in the companies. But I think that kind of gives you an idea. Look, this company is growing really fast and it's really cheaply valued. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the past growth, and you can see this company has a track record of growing revenue absolutely huge. The profit had a little bit of a sink down in 2019, that was due to helping some improvements with inside the company. But it's a profit beast, the profit's grown huge, it'll carry on growing. You can see here, it's just a steady growth in revenue and earnings. And at the end of the day, if you're buying a company and it's already cheaply valued, and you're looking and you think, well, this company is going to go, from being a company that puts in, 83 billion probably in this year when we get the Q4. And basically in the next 4 years, this company is actually going to be, 3 years should I say, this company is going to be, doubling its revenue. It's definitely, one of those, if you're looking at this, is the share price going to stay where it is right now? Or if this company is going to be doubling revenue in the next few years, and on the profit side, it's nearly doubling profit in the next 3 years, is this company going to be valued the same, or is it going to be valued more? It's going to be valued more. And that's another thing, when you look at the earnings, you look at the valuation, it's definitely looking so cheap. And just to top it off, I know if you don't know, Facebook has an amazing balance sheet. It's a very strong balance sheet. There's no debt on the balance sheet. When you look at the cash, there's currently 55 billion in cash. Yeah, billion. That's nuts. The companies that Facebook could actually go buy out. I guess that's something that I would like Facebook to do, is like use that cash up a bit more. I think they've only just started doing share buybacks, but share buybacks. If there was a dividend to come, maybe. If there was to look at buying another company out. I said quite a while ago that if I was Facebook, I would have either looked at buying Dropbox, Spotify, or I would have gone and bought Pinterest. I don't know if that would help the monopoly case, but I thought they were really good purchases for Facebook. So I would have liked to see maybe buy them companies, but hey, you never know. They've done it before successfully. They bought WhatsApp and turned it very well. They've Instagram as well. So it's a very healthy company from that point of view. Now I'm just going to touch on the risk, because I think it would be unfair to talk about a bullish stock without giving the risk. Even the companies I really like, even my biggest position, I'll talk about the negatives. So these a reason for the little drop off 52-week highs. First one, WhatsApp. So they're going to basically be sharing data between WhatsApp and Facebook. People don't like that. Not a lot of clarity on how that's going to work. People leaving, moving to other messaging sites. Facebook's said they're going to stop that at the moment, or they suspended it. I think that Facebook will resolve it. They kind of know what they're doing. They had only a few months ago where they had people that were boycotting the platform for advertising, and they've all pretty much come back now, but you don't see that reported in the news or in anything else. So that's something to be careful of. I think Facebook will resolve that, whether it's something like where they don't share the data, or they do it in a sensitive way or something. That's absolutely fine. The next one is Apple. So Apple are basically going to restrict the amount of data that Facebook can get, and that helps people that market it on the website, like pinpoint certain people that they want to advertise to. Now, I think Facebook could find a way around how to avoid that. Another thing as well is that the advertising platform that Facebook still have is still 100 times better than a lot of other platforms out there that they can use to advertise. If you compare it to the classic way of advertising as well, I think that usefulness of like people actually advertising, having their like Instagram page there that they can follow on for, is something that you can't get in many places. I think the only one is having like sponsored links on like Google's the only other way. I know influencers is another popular one that people go down, but I still think it's, even if the worst case scenario and they don't get a way around it, I still think it's a very good way to advertise. And I think that as more and more people advertise, Facebook can just raise the costs up on how much advertisers pay every year, and it's a nice little income. And obviously the more they monetize as well, like WhatsApp for example. And the other one is that there's speaking about maybe Facebook having a monopoly and they split up Facebook, and Instagram goes separate and everything like that. Personally, I've always said like it would be really weird for me if they split Facebook up and then not someone like Google that has like 90% of the search engine, when you compare Facebook has so much competition with like Snapchat, TikTok. So I don't think that will go anywhere. I think that in that time there'll be other stocks that would go first, which would give us a bit of a warning. I think Chinese stocks are a bit more higher up on the list as well. And yeah, I think it's just all talk. It's something that's been going on for years, and I generally don't think it's a threat to Facebook. And if the worst case scenario it did get split up, I think that even then I think you'd do well, because if they were had to put Instagram on the public stock market and Facebook, and I think them shares would go absolutely crazy. It'd be like the Tesla stock split all over again. I think people would love to just own like the Instagram platform, for example, and everything like that. So I think that would really work out for Facebook in the long term if they did it that way as well. So either way, I do hope it stays as one company, just because I like owning it under one name. But even if it was to split up, I think it still would be totally fine, and I definitely won't worry about it at all. So overall, you can see the 4 massive apps there, how much potential they have, or how successful they have been, and considering how much growth they're still in for like WhatsApp that's growing huge, Instagram that's growing huge. There's still the monetization. They're building in e-commerce into the platform as well, which could be really successful. How cheap it is, you can see the stock is, when you compare it to the other like tech kings, how cheaply valued it is as well, and the growth. it's growing huge. You know, you're paying a company that's a very cheap valuation that's outgrowing the other FANG stocks. And it's growing at a very healthy rate. You know, we're not talking just a little, 10, 15%. It's 20% growth. It's nothing to ignore. That's amazing growth. So yeah, I think, to get a company that's worth 700 billion, was it? And it's this sort of valuation, this sort of growth, it's like, wow, this is so impressive. And you look at the risks, I mean, you've just got to look at the risks. And so, there's some negative news out there, but Facebook always gets tied into this, unfortunately. But it always comes out strong. It's had a lot worse with like the Cambridge Analytica before. It's had other things like the boycotts and adverts. It's come back, and it's an easy target for the media. It's just one of those stocks that isn't liked that much in some of the media outlets, but you look at what the company's doing, and you definitely can't argue about the growth and valuation here and everything that's got going for it. And overall, this is why Facebook's my biggest position, because it's a great big company that I love holding, that still offers a great valuation and also great growth. And I think that it will be within very soon a $300 stock, and I do believe it will get to a $400 stock within the next probably 12 to 24 months. I think it could be somewhere in that range. It will get there. And yeah, it'd be good to look back in a few months, maybe a year time, and see where it is at. Because last time, it made it to $300, and I thought, right, time to up the price target now. And you can see why I'm still very bullish on this company and still buying shares in this company, and even averaging up on this company for quite a bit as well. I love buying this company when it's on a little bit of a dip. So hope you enjoyed it. I thought Facebook's been beaten down over the last kind of few months, really, I guess now. I thought it deserves a little bit of attention. No one's talking about how great of a company and how cheap it still is for a big tech company. So I think hopefully this gave it a little bit of love and a little bit of confidence there that, this is a pretty decent opportunity here, in my opinion. Probably the best big tech stock out there to be holding, in my opinion. So hope you enjoyed it. If you could, smash the like button. If you are new, subscribe if you found it a little bit useful. That'd be absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next video.